The worst thing about being a realtor in 2025. Shit. Where do I start with that, eh? I think the obvious starting point here is you don't know when you're going to get paid. You know, it's a very emotional business. It's a roller coaster ride. And I think this right here is the main reason why most people don't quit their job, quit their 9 to 5, why they don't start their own business, or why they don't go do the thing they actually want to do, right? Because, you know, I used to be a plumber, which is a very physically hard job, working a lot of hours, hands and knees, bad on your back, bad on your knees, bad on your neck, and you're exhausted when you get home every night. But at least you know what you're getting into. You know what I mean? There's no uncertainty. You know you're getting paid if you show up to work. You know what you have to do, and it sucks. Real estate isn't like that. In real estate, there's a lot of uncertainty, right? You don't know if the deal is going to go through. You don't know if the client's going to end up buying. You don't know if the listing is going to sell. You don't know if the market's going to crash. You don't know what the BOC is going to do, if they're going to raise rates, if prices are going to go down, and a million other things. And that uncertainty for any business owner really is the hardest part to stomach. So that leads your emotions going up and down all the time, which is, by the way, why I don't drink or smoke or any of those things. Because if you actually look up what those things do to your emotions, this is why people act erratically. Not always, but if you ever wake up after a day of drinking and you're hungover, you'll notice that you're anxious, right? And without realizing it, you're actually like that the rest of the week too, just to a lesser degree than the immediate day after. So if you're super emotional in your business and you're anxious and you're stressed out, a very big part of that is probably the fact that you're drinking alcohol, smoking weed, or doing any of those other things, right? So that's why when new agents come to me, the very first thing I say to them is drop your vices. It'll make whatever you're already doing, usually what you're doing isn't the problem, or what you're not doing isn't the problem. It's what you're already doing, which is the problem. So quit that. Get rid of that shit. That'll make you less emotional, right? So that's the first thing about being a realtor that sucks, is that it's very emotional. Now the second thing, and again, this applies to just like business in general, things are going to happen where people think you're a bad guy or a bad girl, right? And not that way. Things where maybe you didn't try your best, but you weren't being unethical or immoral or things like that. You know, I had a situation earlier this year where a client just assumed that I was being unethical. I was trying to like backdoor them or something like that, when I absolutely wasn't. I'm not like that at all, you know what I mean? I'm a pretty loyal guy. Always try to act with integrity, like everybody else. But they assumed that I was being unethical and immoral, right? And, you know, once somebody's made their mind up on that, there's really nothing you can say to change their mind on it, right? So, unfortunately, lost that listing. But the part that sucks the most about it is they're going to live their life, the rest of their life, thinking I'm a bad person. And that hurts the most, because people inherently don't want to be bad people. Even people that are bad people usually have a justification for the reason why they're bad. You know what I mean? Like, serial killers always have some type of justification for why they did all the horrible things that they did, so they don't feel like bad people, right? So that's definitely one of the worst parts about business, is things will happen, disagreements will come up. Not always, probably a couple times a year, and people automatically assume that you're just a bad person. And you have to learn to be okay with that sometimes, as much as it sucks, right? Now, the next thing that sucks about being a realtor, and again, really in any business, because when you're a realtor, you are running your own business. I know people think it's a job. It's not. You're running a business. Is that the higher you climb, the more people that are going to try to shoot you down, right? When I first became a realtor and I was posting on social media, I would get a lot of hate, but all the hate was from like random number generated usernames with no display pictures, or people that had like a display picture of a cat or something like that, right? So you didn't really care. As you grow, climb the ladder, see more success, that hate starts coming from bigger, more legitimate sources, right? So now I have other realtors in the industry that open and publicly hate on me, which actually sucks because, you know, you have a lot of people, you have a lot of stuff in common with these people. You're trying to do the same thing that they're trying to do, right? But again, unfortunately, this is something you just kind of have to accept and move on about your day. You can't change people's minds on certain things. Not everybody's going to like you. I used to be a little bit of a people pleaser myself. So I would, it obviously sucks. It hurts when people don't like me. You know what I mean? Because I've always lived my life kind of being a people pleaser, so to speak, right? But again, it's something you learn to just live with, right? So, among a lot of things that suck about real estate, it's still the best industry out there, I believe, especially if you're in Canada. Real estate's like 35% of our GDP or something like that. You can make a lot of money really fast. Real estate completely changed my life. You know, 3 years ago, I was a plumber. Nobody knew who I was. I was making like $100,000 a year. 3 years later, pretty much, well, I shouldn't say everybody. A lot of people know me in the city just from my real estate social media. I've made enough money where I was able to buy my dream home. And had you told me that I would get here in 3 short years, 3 years ago, I would have laughed in your face. So you have the power to completely change your life overnight in this industry. And the reality of it is no matter what you pick, it's going to suck. And there's going to be a lot of terrible shit along the way. And the problems just get bigger and worse and more hard. But you also get more hard. Not like that.